Welcome to SI Now. It's Friday, February 2nd, and I'm Ryan Aselta. Coming up on today's show, Maggie Gray and a host of NFL players will drop by from Houston, including Le'Veon Bell and Von Miller. But first, I recently had a chance to speak to Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon. I got his take on Sunday's big game and which quarterback will star in the on-field drama known as Brady versus Ryan. All right, Warren, you made a Hall of Fame career out of throwing the football, and of course this Super Bowl will feature two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, Tom Brady and Matt Ryan. Let's start with Brady, 39 years old. He misses the first 4 games of the season. How surprised are you with what he's been able to do this season?
I'm not that surprised, except for the fact that he did have a layoff because of the suspension, but he came right out of that suspension with all guns a-blazing. So he really hasn't had any downtime as far as taking his time to get his rhythm or anything like that. His rhythm started basically the first time he got back on the field in that first game against Cleveland, and it just shows you the dedication that he has to his training. And he's still Tom Brady, knows great command of the offense, knows how to get the ball out of his hands quickly, and distributes it to a lot of different people.
When you look at a guy like Brady at his age, do you think that time off actually may have helped him at 39 years old?
Well, there's no question it keeps you fresher just because he didn't have the wear and tear of those first 4 ball games. But you have the tendency to maybe lose your rhythm because you're not playing. And he didn't show that it really bothered him very much at all by him not being able to play for 4 weeks. And it probably helped him more later in the year than it did right away, because that's when you tend to wear down as the season goes along.
All right, Warren, you played in an era with some of the best quarterbacks ever to play the game. There's a lot of talk this year about Brady being the GOAT. Is Tom Brady the greatest quarterback of all time?
I still have Joe Montana number 1 right now because he went to 4 Super Bowls. He won all 4 and never turned the football over in any of those Super Bowls. If Tom is able to win his 5th this year, I might be able to put him on top. He's done it at a high level with a lot of different players, and that's testament to who he is.
All right, well, as good as Brady has been, Warren, Matt Ryan may just end up being the MVP this season. Now, in his 9th year in the league, what is it that has allowed Ryan to kind of take that giant step forward in becoming an elite quarterback this season?
I think having that second year in this offense and really spending the offseason to learn all the nuances of it, and you can just tell he has great command of what he's doing now, distributing the ball to a lot of different people, not only his first and second read, but also his third and fourth. And that makes it difficult to defend him when he knows where all those different options are. So I think that's what's taken his game to another level, because he spread the ball around, and it's really made it difficult for any team to kind of focus in on who you're going to stop on that team, even though Julio Jones is the guy you would think.
What do you think, Warren? Can the Falcons defense learn from what Houston did to New England? I know they lost that game in the divisional round there, but they got to Brady. They knocked him around a little bit, and that was something that Pittsburgh couldn't do in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, that's what you have to be able to do against Tom. That's what Seattle did earlier this season when they beat them at Foxborough, is they got after Tom, made him very uncomfortable, hit him a bunch of times after he threw the football, and he doesn't like that, like most quarterbacks. But what Houston couldn't do is they couldn't score, and that's where I think Atlanta has the advantage. They have a much better offense, much more explosive offense. So if they're able to score and disrupt Brady in the ball game, I think they have a chance to win.
All right, now I know you're in Houston, Warren. You're catching up with some old buddies, some old teammates, and you and a fellow Hall of Famers have come together on a new project this week. Tell us a little bit about that.
You talking about my hat?
Yeah, I'm talking about the hat. The things look pretty. They look pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like them a lot, and I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from them on social media and different friends of mine that have seen it. I was able to get together with New Era, which is a hat company, and design a limited edition Super Bowl hat, and it kind of has a Houston Oilers theme to it, being the fact that I'm in Houston, played in Houston. So it's a Columbia blue hat with red stitching on it and a red signature by me on it. It's kind of makes it special because I spent the majority of my career here in Houston. I wanted to bring back something to Houston that even though the Oilers aren't here anymore, it kind of brings the Oilers back to Houston during this Super Bowl. So I'm looking forward to it being very successful. We're only doing so many of them, and hopefully they all sell out.
Very cool stuff. That Columbia blue, we missed that color there in Houston. Warren Moon, Pro Football Hall of Famer. Thanks so much for being with us.
All right, thanks a lot for having me.
Certainly looks like Warren is ready to take in all the action when Super Bowl 51 kicks off on Sunday. And while he never played in the big one, Maggie Gray caught up with someone who did. Oh boy, did he. Let's go back to Houston, where Maggie Gray is standing by with Super Bowl 50 MVP Von Miller.
The reigning Super Bowl MVP Von Miller here on behalf of Old Spice, and we will get to that in just one moment. But let's start here at the Pro Bowl. Two very funny things. Number one, your Peyton Manning impression.
Oh, you like that?
Spot on. Do you do any other quarterbacks? Do you do Tom Brady?
I do Tom Brady, but I don't have the same practice that I've had with Peyton. I saw Peyton every single day, and I pay close attention to him every single day, from his footwork to his throwing action to the way he holds his hands after he throws the ball. So Peyton, I gotta pay respect to the GOAT. I need room to really get that net going, get that net going, and you follow through. I got my guys here, man. Josh Norman, Emmanuel Sanders, man. These guys are my guys, man.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, he's got a great Peyton Manning, impression as well too. So.
Who's got okay, we were just doing the Peyton Manning impression. Do you have an impression of quarterbacks that you do? And can you show us? You obviously must have a Peyton Manning impression.
I really don't. Vaughn got the best.
Yeah, we just that.
Vaughn got his throw down and everything.
All of even with the spice.
Wait,
Hey,
Josh, what's your Cam Newton impression? You gotta have
Cam
one of
Newton?
in, former teammate. I'm in the way. And you gave us the dab. I love that.
These my guys, man.
Thank you.
They
Thanks
paying
for
back.
stopping
I
by.
was just in their interview just now.
It's a little payback. That was a lot of fun. Second quick Pro Bowl thing. We saw you dancing, and we know that you're always killing it on the dance floor. This one was particularly, it was almost like you were telling a story with this dance. What was it?
Oh, that was Bad and Bougie, Migos. If you just listen to the song, I've heard the song 50 million times, and I'm a fan of the Migos, so after you hear the song, you can just kind of, tell what verse and what lyrics are coming next. So that's just all it was, cooking up dope with the Uzi, Bad and Bougie. You got a bad one, Bougie. It just
This and then.
yeah, my savage just,
Okay,
it just goes with the song.
Obviously, Atlanta rappers, Atlanta in this Super Bowl. I mean, Vic Beasley. Can you describe your relationship with him?
We have just like that that I wouldn't even say it's a big brother little brother mentality, because I give him all the respect in the world. I don't look at him like a little brother. I look at him as equal. Vic Beasley is in a world of his own. I think the test of time will show, what type of player he truly is. I think when it's all said and done, his Hall of Fame speech will be way different than my Hall of Fame speech. But I get pleasure out of talking to a guy, talking about his adversity, the adversity that he's been through. Planting just that little seed, with Vic, and to see that grow into a tree that's all the gratification that I need. All we did was talking, it grew into this heck of an athlete, so heck of a player. So I got a lot of connections to Atlanta Falcons. I really want to see those guys go out there and win. I want Vic and all the guys on defense, Julio Jones, to experience some of the stuff that we had last year. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, they got
They've been
5, they got rings.
4 each, yep.
6 would be incredible for those guys, but I want to see the new guys. I'm always an underdog type of guy. I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Falcons.
This Super Bowl window is open for the Denver Broncos right now. Do you hope that maybe John Elway brings in a veteran quarterback? I'm not even saying to start, but to mentor or to be competition for Trevor Siemian and Paxton Lynch.
Mr. Elway's job, I really, that's just one thing that I really don't have to worry about. It's like when we had Peyton Manning playing quarterback, I never had to worry about, was Peyton going to know the game plan? Was Peyton going to make the right throw? Was Peyton going to have a hold of the offense? It was just something that I expected, to get done because of who he was. And it's the same thing with John Elway. He's done a great job of putting us in championship position ever since his first year. He did it with Tim Tebow, got us to the playoffs second year. We really should have went to the Super Bowl that year, but we lost to the Ravens in a heartbreaking. We've always had a great team. We've always been built right from the ground up, and that's a testament to some of the moves and some of the decisions that Mr. Elway has made.
Let's talk about Old Spice for a moment. You said this is a product that's easy for you to really endorse because it's something that you actually use. Okay, filming this new commercial, tell us what it was like and a little about what we can see.
I'm Van Mueller, and the new Old Spice commercial is like a alter ego. And, like all the Old Spice ads and all the Old Spice commercials are always creative and interesting. And I think that's why I'm such a great fit with Old Spice. My personality fits it fits hand in hand with the type of personalities that we've had in the past, from Terry Crews to Wes Welker. This was definitely, one of the companies that I want to brand in because that I want to, partner with, because I felt like my image and my personality was such a great fit, for what they were doing.
It's called the Hardest Working Collection NFL campaign. What do you smell like after you use this?
Steel carrots. This is the Hydro Wash. It's the newest part of the Hardest Working Collection. It leaves a lasting hydration feeling on the skin. And like I said, I use this stuff on a daily basis, so it's easy for me to promote it.
Fantastic. Von Miller, really appreciate your time.
Thank
you so
appreciate
much.
You.
Man, Von Miller, one of the best defensive performances in Super Bowl history just a year ago. Now let's take a deeper dive into Super Sunday and the other events that should be on your radar this weekend. It's time for SI Now's Weekend Drive, presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Our first stop takes us to Pittsburgh for some NHL action. Metropolitan Division rivals, the Blue Jackets and Penguins, are currently sitting second and third in the standings, respectively. Penn's captain Sidney Crosby is well aware of how physical and intense these games can be.
It's always been intense. I mean, going back to the playoff series there, I think that being close in proximity, I think that just they're intense games. They like to play a physical game, so just make sure we're ready for that.
This is the second meeting between the two teams this season. The Blue Jackets crushed the Penguins in their last meeting, 7-1. Next, we head across the pond for a top Premier League matchup. Chelsea will host Arsenal in a crucial matchup for the Gunners. Blue Lions manager Antonio Conte is no stranger to the importance of this rivalry.
We know that tomorrow we'll face a team, a good team. A big rivals for I'm sure that Arsenal will fight until the end to win the title.
After a 3-0 Arsenal victory in their last meeting, the Gunners are looking to take 2 from Chelsea for the first time since their title-winning run during the 2003-2004 season. Lastly, the most anticipated game of the weekend, the Super Bowl. Will Tom Brady get his 5th ring with the Patriots, or could Matt Ryan pull off the upset? Matty Ice knows that he and offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan need to set the tone of this game with Julio Jones.
It's really important for us. I mean, he's such a huge part of what we do in terms of creating explosive plays and changing how a defense is going to defend us. So we'll get him involved for sure. I know Kyle will do a great job of formatting things and moving him around to get him in spots to make some plays. And I expect he'll have a great game.
Since 2010, coaches are just 3-22 when facing Bill Belichick for the first time. Falcons head coach Dan Quinn will have his hands full on Sunday. And that's what's in store for this weekend.
Trent Bayless, I've been hearing you lately. You love Jerry way too much, you acting like y'all related. I got the Hall of Fame waiting. I'm the best and you hate it. I don't know why you hating. I don't know why you hate me. Probably cause my name is mentioned close with some of the greatest. Then they talk about patience, you close to testing my patience. You say whatever for ratings. I'm not blind, I can see it. You say I'm just an average running back, no way you believe it.
That was the latest track by the performer Juice, who's also known as Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell. Now, the song is a shot at Fox Sports personality Skip Bayless, who was critical of the back this past season. Bell has been making the rounds in Houston this week, and our Maggie Gray caught up with the Pro Bowl running back.
Le'Veon Bell here with FedEx Air and Ground, and we will talk about that in just a moment. Really cool initiative, but we have to talk about the diss track that you dropped about Skip Bayless. This one came out of nowhere, and it was just straight fire. So how long did it take you to write it?
It took me about an hour to get all the lyrics, how I wanted to get it, record it, and do all those things. So it was about an hour, hour and 15 minutes. Yeah.
What's your favorite line that you got off?
If you keep on talking all that nonsense, I'm gonna call Richard Sherman.
I was just gonna say, that was the one that I wrote down. Sometimes I hate that you're breathing. You think you're sick as a germ. You talk all that nonsense. I'm gonna call Richard Sherman. You clearly did your homework. What was it that broke the camel's back? I mean, Skip Bayless has been criticizing athletes and been critical in the past. What finally made you break?
Yeah, because I mean, he's been talking down on me, for years, and it kind of went back the last couple of years, like he's kind of been letting it slide. Then during the course of the season of this year, I've been seeing all the things he's been saying, and I just thought at the time I'm not really thinking nothing of it. I'm just thinking man, why does this dude hate me so much? I don't like him either, things like that, and it just kind of built up. And one of my friends had sent me, a crazy beat, and I was thinking this is the beat right here that I'm going to go on shrimp right here. This is the beat right here, and and it kind of took off, and it's a great track. And if you haven't heard it, you got to go take a listen to it.
Okay, so he invited you on the show so you guys could settle this. Are you going to do it?
No.
Not at all?
No. Like I said in the song, I said, you want to talk for attention? Well, look, here's your attention. And that's what I said on the track, and that was all the attention you're going to get. I'm not going to go on the show, give it show ratings.
Okay. Just taking away from Bayless, just things that you've heard. What's the craziest criticism you've heard about your running style, which is so unique? It's patient, it's just different. What's the craziest thing you've heard about people criticizing that style?
That I'm too patient. A lot of people just see that as different, and they don't really understand what I'm actually doing or why I do it, which is a good thing because I think, defenses don't really fully understand of what I'm doing and why I'm trying to do it too. So, but you'll see a lot of the commentators and even the players I play against, they really love it because they man, you're a tough guy to stop. You're so different, things like that. And I think I like getting that love, from guys on the outside and my peers that I play with. Obviously, the analysts, they love it, and I think, just to open their eyes and to be a different type of player because they don't seen a lot of players come through this league. So when they talk about me in that sense, it means a lot to me.
It's crazy. There's really nobody that we can compare you to in the style that you run. I don't know if you modeled your game after anyone.
Yeah, and I watched a lot of players, a lot of my favorite running backs like Barry Sanders and, Marshall Faulk, Adrian Peterson, Daniel Thomason. I got a lot of guys who, I probably picked a little bit of their skill, try to put it in mine, but I obviously added my own little thing.
Would the game been different if you had not been injured in the first quarter of the AFC Championship?
I definitely think so. I'm more confident that, even if we wouldn't have won, it would have been a lot more interesting.
So I'm assuming you are not picking the Patriots in the Super Bowl, or are you picking the Patriots?
I think it's really going to come down to whoever had the ball last. I don't think the Falcons are really going to be able to stop the Patriots too often. I don't think the Patriots are going to be able to stop the Falcons too often. So I think it's going to come down to whoever get a couple big stops or whoever has the ball last.
So who is it?
I'm gonna go with the Falcons just because I just feel like it's their time. Julio.
Julio. That means going against your friend LeGarrette Blount, though. He already has a Super Bowl ring.
He does. He does have a Super Bowl ring, and I'm not necessarily going against him. I just think it's just the Falcons year. I just kind of feel like that. I just feel like the Falcons have been playing great ball. They're not going against us, so I definitely think it's their year.
Let's talk about the FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Year. It's one running back, it's one quarterback. They get voted on by the fans, and there's a really special twist, which is $50,000, and it goes towards the USO, which is such a great cause. Who would you be picking for this year's quarterback and running back?
Obviously, if I had to pick running back, I'd be super biased and pick for myself. But Ezekiel Elliott and David Johnson are also runners. Those guys had tremendous years. So you can go to NFL.com/FedEx and go take your votes.
There you go. And for quarterback?
Matty Ice.
Le'Veon Bell, really appreciate your time. Thank you so
Thanks
much,
so much
and congrats on a great season.
Thank you.
Look at Bell picking the Falcons and sticking with them, unlike some of the other guys we spoke with this week. And great job, of course, from Maggie Gray all week long for her reports and interviews from Houston. Finally, with everything going on in Washington these days, John Wertheim offers us this gentle reminder there's actually a really big sporting event happening in Houston.
Remember the Super Bowl? Big game, big ratings, unofficial national holiday, guacamole. Well, they're holding it Sunday, and if you miss that news, well, you're forgiven. With the daily drumbeat of political news coming, the game between the New England Patriots and the Atlanta Falcons has been losing the fight for our attention. A quick press briefing. Here's what you need to know for Super Bowl 51. No Super Bowls versus 4. Youth versus experience. Steady versus electric. 2 really good quarterbacks, 1 really good guy named Julio, and 2 exceedingly complete teams. Should be a good game. So good that, maybe for a day anyway, sports will go back to overriding politics. Trumping, you might call it.
And that's going to do it for this Super Bowl Friday edition of SI Now. We'll be back with you on Monday at a brand new time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, when Maggie and guest co-host and former WWE superstar Matt Stryker will look back at the best of this year's crop of Super Bowl commercials. I'm sure they're also going to talk about the game, too. That's at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss it. Till then, stick with SI.com for all the latest news, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter at SI Now Live. Have a great weekend and enjoy Super Bowl 51.